Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're joining us from today, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Cara Kurtz, and I am the Senior Coordinator of Business Development at ASTA. I will also be your organizer for today's presentation. We are very happy to welcome today's presenter, Ciso Moreno, Discover Puerto Rico Sales Manager of the Northeast USA. Narciso, better known as Ciso, is a well-rounded destination and hospitality expert. He has worked in various positions at restaurants, hotels, and small inns. For the past 30 years, he has dedicated this time to work for the Discover Puerto Rico tourism company, for the past 30 years, he has worked for the Puerto Rican tourism company, which has recently rebranded to Discover Puerto Rico as a sales manager and as a consultant. His passion is to talk about his experiences in his native lands of Puerto Rico. He enjoys cooking, hiking, adventures, outdoors, travel, scuba diving, sunset, and my personal favorite, happy hours. Ciso is one of the most amazing presenters that we could have talking to us today about Puerto Rico, and I can personally vouch for him as he's helped me with a couple of trips that I've had to Puerto Rico. Before we get started today, I'd like to point out a few important features that will allow you to interact with us via the web. We will be answering your questions at the end of this presentation. To ask a question, you'll be using your GoToWebinar pane. Near the bottom of this pane, there is an area that says questions. If you click the arrow next to where it says questions, this will open up a window pane that you'll be using to communicate with me today. If you're having trouble hearing this presentation, please make sure that your speakers are turned all the way up. And if you've called in, please try hanging up and dialing back in again. You can send me any technical issues via this questions pane, and I will answer them via the same pane to the best of my ability. Also in this pane, there is an area labeled handouts. Here is where you can find 3 downloadable PDFs that are pertinent to today's presentation. Please be sure to download these PDFs before the presentation is over, as this will be the only time that these PDFs will be accessible for download. Please also note that all of our audience members are muted. We certainly want to hear from you all, but with so many of you registered for today's call, background noise would prove to be prohibited, and we want to make sure that we can hear Ciso's entire presentation. Also remember that all of today's webinar attendees are entered in a chance to win one of 2 prizes: a 2-night stay at the iconic Caribe Hilton, or a 2-night stay and breakfast for 2 at the Fairmont El San Juan Hotel. Please note that we will be announcing these winners after our webinar, so please be on the lookout for an email in case you are one of the winners of these 2 amazing prizes. Finally, please remember that this webinar is being recorded and will be available for your on-demand viewing at asta.org by early next week. Now, without further ado, Ciso, please take it away.
Thank you, Cara. Thank you for your kind words and introduction. Hola, amigos. Buenos días, or good afternoon to some of you back there, too. Please allow me to give you a warm virtual welcome to Puerto Rico. More than ever, we value the use of a travel advisor, and your guys are key for any future bookings that we get. We thank you for investing your time with us today, this afternoon. Before I start talking about the destination, we need to mention that 2019 was a great year for us. 2019 will set the time frame of a 2-year recovery period that we have from 2 hurricanes. We still get that question. How are you guys doing after Hurricane Irma and Maria? Well, just to give you an idea, back in October of 2019, Condé Nast Traveler Magazine Reader Choice Award make Puerto Rico give us an award of the best island in the Caribbean and Atlantic. That's not to share with, real nice and cool to be the best island in the Caribbean and for traveling in 2020. With that said, we were on our way for record numbers of visitors, hotel occupancy, and yes, we have fully recovered from the hurricanes. You also heard that in 2019, at the end of 2019, early 2020, we got some earthquakes. But the earthquakes were localized in the southern part of Puerto Rico, which actually can show you what had happened, but no major impact occurred in the north side of the island. It's like, hey, when it shakes in LA, it doesn't shake in San Francisco, just to give you an idea due to the distance. So are we ready? Yes, all in good time. But the good news are that it's almost time. We have an opening date for inbound travel to Puerto Rico as of July 15th. We have exerted extraordinary caution guidelines for the safety of our residents and visitors since March. That's been including every arriving visitor or resident. They have to go on a self-quarantine for 2 weeks. We do have a curfew in place right now that changed from 7 p.m. Now it's from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. And we do request everyone to wear a face mask or face cover, keep social distance, and the ABCs of washing your hands. Here's a few facts and good reasons to choose Puerto Rico for you and for your clients as a destination experience. Number one, being part of the U.S., you don't need a passport, no migration, no customs. It is a domestic flight. How many times we need to say that, but we need to repeat that, especially when right now there's no passports being issued, there's something happening. So we have that on our edge. When you arrive, taxis are available at the airport 24/7. Uber is working. The health and safety measures, they're placing a divider. The drivers have the gloves. They have to wear the mask. They will sanitize your luggage as well. When you travel to Puerto Rico, there's no need to change your cell phone plans. They work in the island. Please use them as your GPS to go out, to enjoy and experience the destination itself, or for different tours like in Old San Juan or so. Our fantastic weather is all year round, like a spring, summer mix, scooter up in the mountains and along the coastline. But it's real balm tropical breeze are the ones that really make Puerto Rico and the weather much better. There's no need to change the currency. The casinos, as a matter of fact, will be opening up in July as well. They're closed for the moment. So what I want to say right now is being part of the U.S., our health and safety protocols are very similar or stricter than in some U.S. cities. OSHA, CDC, WHOA, the Department of Health of the U.S. and Puerto Rico are the guidelines that we're following right now to provide you safety and all the health requirements that you're looking for you and your clients. Let's take a look at the map of Puerto Rico just to go over and refresh your minds a little bit. Right now, you can see 3 airports. San Juan on the north side, where it says Metro, one in the southern part in Ponce, and the other one in Aguadilla. At the present time, only the San Juan airport is open. Normally, 90% of all the flights that come to Puerto Rico go to San Juan. Now it's 100% of the flights that are arriving to Puerto Rico go there. Yes, we're open. We're welcoming 20 flights on a daily basis at the present time. But are we having visitors? Remember, they need to go on a 2-week quarantine. The National Guard will be welcoming you. And they're part of the team, the health team, that is just taking the measurements of the temperature when you arrive. And they're supporting all the different efforts for your safety that we do. Approximately 2 weeks ago, and since yesterday, restaurants, swimming pools at the hotels, stores, attractions are open. They're open up now to a 50% capacity. The beaches, all of them open yesterday. But I just want to show you that website on the top, discoverpuertorico.com. We have a traveler's update at our website, and it's a very simple one to read. It's a one-pager that has all the information that you need to know. So please access that website, look for the guidelines, and you will have a safe trip to Puerto Rico as of July 15, but if you want to visit before. So let's go back to the map. The size of Puerto Rico, 100 miles east to west, 35 miles north to south. You can see some islands. Vieques and Culebra on the right side of the map. Those two, you can just fly out there. For the moment, the ferry boats are not taking visitors. If you go down to the southern part of Puerto Rico, we have another island in Ponce. And when the cruises stop there, they take people out to the beach with the snorkeling trail. And then you see other two islands on the west side of Puerto Rico, inhabited, but they're great for scuba diving. So that's something that is unique for Puerto Rico. There's an archipelago that surrounds the island and makes it more diverse at the same time because of the islands and the island itself. We have a central mountain range that split the island in half, creating rainforests like the one of El Yunque on the east end, Toro Negro with our highest peaks right in the center, or in the southern part, we have a dry forest. Something that makes our island unique. Also, our roads, the infrastructure of the roads. We feel very comfortable saying that we're very safe, and we're going to tell you, rent a car. Remember, use your cell phone. That will be your GPS. We want you to go and explore Puerto Rico through the different regions at the same time and enjoy Puerto Rico as a destination experience, not just as a resort experience. Let's move into the specialty markets. As you appreciated before from the map, we do have more than 300 miles of coastline. We have all the different water sports. We have world-class beaches in Puerto Rico. We have all the water sports, from surfing on the west end of Puerto Rico and Rincon to scuba diving on the southwest end and the nearby islands, as we mentioned before. You have marinas that will take you to those islands at the same time to enjoy them. The only water sport that we do not have is submarine rides. And that will just put everything in context and a summary very quickly. But we do have all of those. An important feature of our website is that search box that we have. If you want to look for a certain specific beach, do we have black sand? Yes, we do. We have them in Vieques. So that search box will actually locate you and take you to different beaches in Puerto Rico that will show you a video, that will have an article, that will tell you what to see and do at the same time. A lot of our golf courses have beautiful ocean views and also a lot of water features, from the beautiful Ritz-Carlton and the famous East Coast East Golf Course to the St. Regis Bahia to the Costa Isabela, probably one that is mostly unknown for a lot of you, but that's in the Northwest. Those are the three pictures that we have right now. But a big and important fact is that the PGA goes to Puerto Rico and plays there in the month of March. The golfers like to go where the pros play. And they go to Cocoa Beach, where the new Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve is located in the north side of Puerto Rico. Our 17 golf courses are open for business right now. Another segment that we have, we're blessed by nature. We have all these beautiful mountains, the rivers, the lakes, bioluminescent bays. Within an hour, you're in a rainforest. Within 2 hours, you're in a dry forest. You can just go to different islands within an hour or so and do one of different things, or just feel like a lot of those people, you're in the top of the world, especially nowadays that we have this cabin fever. We want to get out and we want to do things. And as soon as COVID-19 allowed us to do it, we'll be ready to welcome you at the same time. The luxury market, right after the hurricanes 2 years ago, all the properties were back. On the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, now El San Juan Hotel is part of the Fairmont collection. Fairmont hotels are in Puerto Rico. St. Regis that I mentioned before, the Caribe Hilton Hotel, it's also there. St. Regis, El Convento. Actually, El Convento was named by Condé Nast Magazine as one of the smaller hotels and historical hotels in the world. So there's so many things happening with the luxury hotels in Puerto Rico, and all of them are there. We have all the elements of a luxury destination: the exotic scenery, the cosmopolitan vibe, and definitely the quality of service. A lot of these great properties do have spas. The spas are not available right now. Gyms just opened up this week, just to give you an idea. So by July, we hope that all the spas will be available for business at these hotels with the social distance and all the different precautions that need to be taken at the same time. Another specialty group that finds Puerto Rico welcoming is the LGBTQ. They love to go to Puerto Rico in the month of June because we have two pride parades, one in San Juan, one in Cabo Rojo in the southwest end, canceled due to COVID. However, because we're part of the U.S., all the laws that apply for them in the States will apply for them in Puerto Rico, like marriage laws and adoption laws at the same time. So this is a group that we expect that is going to pick up very quickly and start traveling to Puerto Rico at the same time. So will be the Romans. We have, again, we don't have that much red tape as we're part of the United States. So that's important to say. You can do a lot of the homework online nowadays for the Romans. Our laws are the same ones you have within your own state to make it easy. You can just get married in Old San Juan. You can get your beach wedding, which is your typical one. What about the countryside? What about on a botanical garden by the rainforest? So many things you can do, but all that can be done in Puerto Rico, and also your honeymoon at the same time. After all the Romans or their honeymoons, kids come around. So we have the family market. What is important for this is the quality time. They can be engaging into cultural events. They can be engaging or learning sports with you, or go hiking on a jungle, something that the kids like to play like parrots, or go into caves. Maybe they can start driving and you can teach them how to drive. So there's so many things that we can do with the kids in the family market at the same time. What happens with the culture and the culinary aspect of Puerto Rico? This is something that we're very proud of. You know, we are a lively mix of the Taino, Native Indians, the African, the Spanish, and the American influences. This fusion, you can see it in all aspects of life in Puerto Rico, within its people, but it's mostly appreciated by the cuisine. So every time, you know, I ask somebody, you know, what do you like from your trip to Puerto Rico? I say, well, my God, I like the cuisine. I really love whatever you cook. So that's one way of learning about our culture. And you know how it goes, you know, from food, then you have drinks. With food and drinks, you have the music, and you party all night long, and you have a great time. We do offer some great culinary adventures, and I want to quote one of my favorite traveler and food writers, Anthony Bourdain. He said, I think food, people, and landscapes are absolutely inseparable. And that's what we showcase here. We have developed, or we call them, you know, different names, or because there are adventures themselves as you travel around Puerto Rico. For example, the Port Highway is on the southeast end of Puerto Rico. That's why we leave the map there so you can get an idea. About 40 minutes from San Juan. The sausage route, the Longaniza route, is up in the mountains. What about stopping in a rum moonshine distillery at the same time and experience all these culinary aspects? Or when you go east by the rainforest, stop at the Luquillo kiosk. These are experiences that we really offer at the same time. And when you meet the locals will tell you, have you been here? Have you been there? And those are the things that we really want to highlight when you come and visit Puerto Rico. We don't have all inclusives, and you know that. But we're very proud of who cooks for you. Our chefs are not just cooks. They're trained chefs, and you can see them all over the island of Puerto Rico. They're very responsible. More than ever, right after the hurricanes, one more time, you can see the farm to table concept, the sustainability, that responsibility with the farmers, and just having everything fresh for you is something that we want to portray. One of them, and here's a list, actually, a list of excellent restaurants that you would like to go and visit on your own or give it to your clients. Jose Santaella, trained in Spain and in New York. He's by the farmers market in San Juan, which I'll show you in a slide later on, the location of it. Excellent restaurant. Juan Jose Cuevas, He's a 1-star and 3-star Michelin chef. He is working at the Condado Vanderbilt Hotel on his own restaurant, 1919. Mario Pagan, look at that. He's got 5 restaurants, and he was one of the competitors at the next Iron Chef from the Food Network channel. Maria Mercedes from Gallo Negro, from the French Culinary Institute. Jose Enrique from the CIA in New York. So all these chefs have done so much. When Jose Enrique opened up, he was in the Food and Wine magazine top 100 best restaurants in the world. And he just won last year, in 2019, the best chef of the South, including Florida, Louisiana. We're talking about places where there's a lot of good food. So that's important. In this presentation, we're not going to talk about nightlife, and the reason is simple. We do have a curfew that we have to respect, but at the same time, we need to keep social distancing. The restaurants are open, like we mentioned, on a 50% capacity. All the servers are wearing gloves and they're wearing masks at the same time. You're supposed to wear a mask when you go to one of our restaurants or to one of our bars or so. Now, I just want to go around the island of Puerto Rico and talk about the different attractions and the different locations to give you a better perspective of what a wholesome image Puerto Rico will portray from you. Every time you go to San Juan, you will see this fort. Either you fly in or you cruise into San Juan, El Morro Fort. One of the largest forts built by the Spaniards, or the largest fort was the San Cristobal Fort, the sister fort that you can walk from one to the next property. San Juan was founded in 1521. Next year, we're going to celebrate 500 years of history, culture in the city, and the founding of Old San Juan itself. Just walking around Old San Juan, it's a different feeling. You feel transported like if you were in Europe. You feel like if you were in another time, in another era. That happens to me every time I walk out of El Convento Hotel or one of the many buildings that we get to see and different museums. Remember, Old San Juan was designated by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. It's in different books, one of the best places to see before you die and so on. Not that I want you, but you need to see a place before and so on. Back to El Morro Fort. Do you know the first golf course that we had in Puerto Rico and in the Caribbean was at El Morro Fort? It's something that's a unique fact for me. The oldest executive mansion in continuous use in the New World is the Fortaleza. The photo on the bottom, you can still visit it. The beautiful cobblestone streets that used to be used as ballast on the Spanish ships, and they will trade us those cobblestones for gold links. Very smart guys, the Spanish people. Actually, that's San Sebastian Street on the lower right-hand side. So we expect that San Sebastian Street Festival in 2021 is going to be one of the best, the largest ones, because of the two things, the 500 years anniversary, and because it's the largest festival celebrated in the Caribbean at the same time. Our forts repel British and Dutch invaders, and one famous guy called Sir Francis Drake. And I'll tell you a gossip, he invented the mojito, and that's something that a lot of people not fully aware, but that's the truth. And when I say that is because, you know, we have the Bacardi rum distillery. Is the largest rum producer in the world. 70% of all the rum we consume in the U.S. comes from that plant. That's something amazing. Another fact is that Johnson & Johnson produce 80% of all the Tylenols we take in the U.S. and our plants in Puerto Rico at the same time. Bacardi have changed a lot because they're getting competition. You can see there's other distilleries that are opening, visitor centers that are opening, and they have an excellent mixology class. I always say that's great for the girls' getaways because they always want to be the best host when they have friends over and they learn how to make drinks. But also for the gentlemen, we have rum tasting. We all know how to drink. However, when you start taking the aged rum and enjoying a little bit of the other tasting and different flavor, that's something that is unique. So Bacardi has done all these different tours and tasting times that are very unique. If you have an upscale client, what about bottling your own bottle of rum and still wax it in the top? It's something unique. Hacienda Santa Ana, the best aged rum in Puerto Rico since 1879, or the Moonshine location that I mentioned to you up in the mountains, Puerto Rico. So there's so many things you can do out there. A new building, a new entertainment center that actually it had their beginning in February by opening the new A-Love Hotel, is by the convention center. It's called El Distrito T-Mobile. Here is a combination of things in this entertainment center. Concert halls, bowling alleys, cinemas, zip lines. Oh my God, you can actually see some guys on a zip line on the right-hand side. This is an artist rendering. El Distrito T-Mobile will open up in November 1st of this year. They were actually, like I said, ready to go in February, March, but because of COVID, we stopped construction, but everything is happening again. And I will reopen in November 1st. If you look to the left-hand side, you will see how close we are from the piers. On the lower right-hand side, you can see some of the cruise ships out there. So you can actually walk from the Distrito to the ships and back and forth. So there's so many things that you can do out here with a distillery, craft beer, restaurants. It will be a unique setup, something new for 2020 in November to open up. I love this map. This map actually breaks down the San Juan metro area as simple as it could be. Let's start where you arrive. You arrive at the airport, at the San Juan airport, on the lower right-hand side, on the light blue color. And you can see the location, Isla Verde. If you're looking for an area, a location for your guest clients, that is a swimmable beach, the longest one, I would suggest Isla Verde. As you can see, it's like a W up there, and that's about 1.5 miles one way, 1.5 miles the other way. Excellent swimmable beach. It's the location of the Fairmont El San Juan, the Intercontinental that open up now in January, the Water Club, and other great properties that we have in Isla Verde. You see a couple of palm trees. That's a new place that we opened up about 3 years ago called Club Vivo. If you have a 7 p.m. flight and you arrive on a cruise by 8 o'clock, what do you do between 8 o'clock and 7 p.m.? Go to Club Vivo, put your luggage out there in a locker, enjoy the beach. They have great restaurants. It's an entertainment center too. So something else to see and do. Moving towards Ocean Park to the left. That's a residential area. Some of the best kite surfing in the world can be done in Ocean Park. You see a fork and a knife. That's Loiza Street, a trendy location that we have for the foodies right now. More than 35 restaurants are located within that area. Excellent location. As you move to the left, you see the Condado, another strip of different hotels with casinos, everything walking distance. So these two will balance each other, Isla Verde on one side, Condado in the other. As you keep on moving, you get to the island of San Juan with the Hilton in one edge, El Convento inside, and the cruise terminal right in the center. The cruise terminal, you have some of the southern part of the old city, and then the north side of what you read as Isla Grande. Old San Juan is an island by itself. Isla Grande means main island, big island. And that's where we have the new Distrito. That's the location of El Distrito, the convention center. And you can see there's a couple of hotels. Always get this question, where can I stay? What's the best location if I have a cruise? Actually, everything is within 20 minutes from the airport to Old San Juan. Is only 7 miles. So it's a matter of your choice. If you want to be by the beach, or if you want to be next to the different nightlife or restaurants, it will be your choice. Don't want to miss that little martini glass there. That's one of my favorite things, happy hours. And that's the farmer's market. There's about 40 restaurants and bars and lounges around this location. It is a unique place because you have all these big name chefs, but also you're drinking in the streets. On the weekends, you have live bands. So your people are dancing in the street at the same time. So the farmers market, we say it in Spanish, La Placita. It is a unique location. Every time we have a fam, we take them there. They're like, "I would really need to leave now at 11 o'clock." Well, yeah, we can leave, or we can catch an Uber on the way back later on at night. So that's something that is peculiar to San Juan. And I just want to break the different neighborhoods so you can get a better idea. Isla Verde, Ocean Park, Condado, Old San Juan, Isla Grande, and Santurce. So it's a little bit more comprehensive seeing all the different neighborhoods. And down in Hato Rey, you have two shopping malls, number 2 and number 1, Plaza Las Americas and Mall of San Juan. I want to highlight the Caribe Hilton for a couple of reasons. One, they're giving us a giveaway, 3 days and 2 nights, and congratulations to the winner. This iconic property invested $150 million into it. They have a private beach, excellent for families, couples. Look at the size of that lobby on the upper right-hand side. The health and safety measurements, they will have the little spots where you're going to be actually going in. They're going to have keyless entry. You can actually do your check-in from your phone and so on. So you have a minimal contact with them. They're doing like Hilton and Marriott, so they have their own protocols. Hilton is doing this with Lysol. You get a little package with Lysol. So these are the little things that make a big experience later on. The rooms fully remodeled. So $150 million into this property is excellent. And we thank them for giving us that 3-day and 2-night stay. El San Juan Hotel, like I mentioned before, we welcome the Fairmont property, Fairmont collection into Puerto Rico. They selected the Grand Dam, as we call it, from Puerto Rico. Everybody knows that lobby. If you look the right-hand side, upper right-hand side, that chandelier has more than 5,000 glass items or elements. I would not like to be the one that cleans up that huge lamp. I would like just to sit down in that bar and enjoy my drink and enjoy everybody, because that's a people washer place. All that hand-carved mahogany came from a previous hotel in Europe, and it was all transported into San Juan to the hotel itself. They did remodel all the properties. They did a great investment. That's Isla Verde Beach. Again, like I mentioned, it is swimmable. It's very calm all year round. It's great. And the Fairmont is all very kind, and we thank them for giving us 3 days and 2 nights, and this time including breakfast for 2. Congratulations to one of you. As we keep on seeing the island of Puerto Rico, we're going to travel to the east. From San Juan, it's about 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, depending on the area that you're going. The rainforest is only 45 minutes. So you have rainforest, you have bioluminescent bays on this part of the island. And those are two most too in Puerto Rico, the Bio Bay, and also you have the rainforest. What important is that with all the marinas that we have, you can go snorkeling, scuba diving, and just sailing out. You can just go on a snorkeling tour that goes to the different islands, to Vieques, Culebra, the rainforest. Again, you have these beautiful waterfalls. I had a couple of friends of mine from Puerto Rico that were going waterfall hunting. That's something that is unique. I want to do that next time I go out there. Great resorts, great golf resorts in this section of Puerto Rico. All these hotels are open except El Conquistador. El Conquistador is supposed to open now at the end of 2020. And it's not because of the hurricane. The only reason why they're not open is because the hotel was sold. So there are changes coming to El Conquistador Resort. The rest of the properties are open. The Hyatt Regency used to be the Gran Meliá Hotel, St. Regis, we all know. Wyndham Grand Rio Mar. When somebody asks me about an all-inclusive, I'm going to guide you to the Wyndham Grand because they have an all-inclusive option. So there's things to see out here. Great resorts, great golf courses, many activities to do. Vieques and Culebra, just a short boat ride away. Not yet. It's almost time, like we mentioned before. The ferry boats are not going to take visitors to Vieques and Culebra yet. In Culebra, we have no cases of COVID-19 yet. Probably that's one of the main reasons. You can still fly into Vieques and Culebra. So these are things that are happening. But what is important, in Culebra, we have Flamenco Beach, one of the top 10 beaches in the world. And Culebra just spells like that. Beaches, 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 beautiful beaches. Vieques is very similar, a lot of beautiful beaches. But now you have Vieques with some history behind. You have a small Spanish fort out there and those little tours, or you can really enjoy the main highlight of Vieques, which is the bioluminescent bay. Right after the hurricanes, like we said, more than 2 years ago, now it's almost 2.5 years to a little bit more. National Geographic came back in the summer of 2018 to check out the bio bay. Guess what? It's glowing 7 times more than previously from the hurricane. So that's something that is unique. Maybe a little bit of a cleanup on the system or so, but that's what's happening out there. Let's travel south into the city of Ponce. The architecture is very different, much more of an influence of the Italian, the French, looks like a New Orleans type. It is a beautiful town itself. You can really see the pastel colors. Old San Juan, remember, was a military post. This is a colonial city, very different. When I mentioned the earthquakes, Ponce, and you see the farthest photo on the right-hand side, you see those 2 towers and the church and the cathedral, dating 1872. One of those towers got compromised. So we're trying to see if we can fix it up and so on. There's so many memories, so many people going through. It's just a pity to see a situation like that. But like I said, no major impact occurred with the earthquakes, no death. So we're fully back to really enjoy this section. Here's a sample of other attractions in Ponce that are open. The Serralles Castle on the left-hand side, used a lot for weddings. We have a national landmark. It is a park, 1,400 years old, where the Taino Indians have left some of their heritage. If you see something hanging right there in the middle, that's a hammock. The Taino Indians used to sleep in hammocks. Also, they created some other words. Hammocks come from hamaca, and that's a Taino word. What about barbecue? We all do barbecues in the summer. They're coming up. So barbacoa is a Taino word as well. And one that we don't want to know is hurricane, huracan. So these words come from the Taino language. And there's something that you can really enjoy and learn about our culture. Last but not least, we have beautiful coffee plantations north of Ponce going towards the mountains. That beautiful home, Hacienda Buena Vista, is a museum. You can actually drink the coffee that they grow out there. It's an active plantation, and that's dating 1795. Amazing when you get to see this. This is just a selection of different properties. You're familiar with the Hiltons, the Holiday Inns. Maybe the Meliá, it's something different for you. The Meliá and the Ponce Plaza, those are colonial type of hotels. You have the old way of the rooms used to be. At the Meliá, you have ceilings that are about 14 feet in height. It's something unique. And the Solas was opened up right after the hurricane. All that is in Ponce. Look at this surreal landscape. This is on the west coast of Puerto Rico. These are salt flats. These pools will change colors. Now they're pink. They will turn into purple. They could be blue, green. They could be terracotta color, depending on the crystallization process of all these beautiful salt flats. If you remember the first picture I showed you in the beginning, that beautiful beach, it's in the same location. And that's located where the lighthouse is. That's a picture on the left-hand side. The beach is the one behind on the right side of it. Salt flats behind the lighthouse is one of the most beautiful places. It takes about 2 hours and 20 minutes driving from San Juan. I always say overnight. Go out to the west and enjoy it. The West Coast is world famous for its beautiful sunsets, and you can see one of them right there in the town of Rincon. You have a lot of sleepy fishermen villages, great food. The seafood is king out here. Sleepy fisherman village during the day. Look how crowded they get at night. There's another town called Boquerón. They have oyster stands. Still, dozen oysters, $4 can be the price. La Parguera, that's a saltwater pool. That's the largest saltwater pool in the Caribbean. So there's so many little things in these towns on the West Coast, authentic Puerto Rico, off the beaten path. Go and check them out, experience them a little bit. Or go to Rincon, part of the bucket list, learn where the surfers go. Learn surfing with a surfer out there. But not all the beaches are wavy. As you can see, you can do stand-up paddle. Actually, in Rincon, we have the largest stand-up paddle competition in the Caribbean. We celebrate that on a yearly basis. So many things to see and do on the West Coast. It's one of the largest areas, but it's the one where the locals go to enjoy their vacations. There's a little choice of hotels. Now, I just want to give you an idea that there's a lot of paradores, country inns, there's villas, you have your regular hotels at the same time, or smaller properties under 100 rooms. And I just want to say, if you need some help matching your clients on the Western region, even in San Juan Metro or so, please shoot me an email, which I'm going to share that with you later on in the presentation, or just give me a call. This is the best way of traveling in Puerto Rico, flying. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy everything from Puerto Rico. In the center part of the mountains, we have Toro Verde. Toro Verde is the largest aerial park in the world, meaning zip lines. This lady is enjoying the highest, fastest, and longest zip line in the Americas. It used to be the one in the world, but Dubai has more money than we do, and they talked to our people in Puerto Rico, and they built the longest zip line in the world in Dubai. Meanwhile, we have the largest, longest, and fastest zip line. We're talking about 2 miles long. That's about 29 football fields. 2 minutes air time. She's laughing. Some people cry. Some people laugh. Some people close their eyes. That's Toro Verde, up in the center part of the mountains, Central Mountain Range, only an hour and a half from San Juan, so it's doable. We got a lot of cruise passengers that go out there. Part of the Central Mountain Range, we have close to 4,000 caverns. Puerto Rico in the center is more like a Swiss cheese, so you're able to see all these rivers, underground rivers that go around, and it's gorgeous where you can just go rappelling and just body rafting all over, or just enjoy the view at almost at dusk, where you can see actually San Juan on a clear day. You see it from there. And now we offer glamping from out. That's from the glamping side in Orocovis in the center part of the mountains. Also in the center part of the mountains, we have all these great coffee plantations that we encourage you to go and try. Our coffee used to be drank in the Vatican before World War II. You know what happens with the U-boats. There was an embargo. We couldn't travel and take our coffee out there. But our coffee is one of the top 3 coffees in the world, compared to Kona Gold in Hawaii, Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee, and Alto Grande. Same bean from the same. All these different locations for you to enjoy. They have restaurants. Some of them you can stay overnight, like Hacienda La Mocha in Ponce. Here's a list of where you can taste our coffee in San Juan and outside of San Juan. Like Kara mentioned, we're going to be sharing the slides with you in a PDF, so you will be able to keep all these names of restaurants before and different locations where you can buy this. So don't buy someone a Starbucks coffee card for $20. Buy them a couple of bags of coffee if they're like those coffee aficionados like I am. I really appreciate that better than just having a Starbucks card at the same time. The last region we're covering is the north side of Puerto Rico. Look at the impressive caves. Again, we share those caves between the Central Mountain Range and this. If you're looking for a profile picture, I bet you would like to put your face and your body right there. You're going through 2 different caves. It's a very easy walk. Caves are fantastic. There's so much knowledge. The Taino Indians used to live up here, so you can learn a lot about history and so on. So from history, you can learn also about science fiction. Look at the center photo that we have. That's a radio telescope of Arecibo. Movies are being filmed here, like the movie Contact with Jodie Foster many years ago, or GoldenEye by James Bond. So these are things that are unique to Puerto Rico. Old San Juan used to be Havana, and many, many different movies that we have seen at the same time. So movie sceneries are coming back to Puerto Rico and will put us back on the map. That's Mar Chiquita, the beach on the left-hand side. Like we mentioned, in the north side, we have the Atlantic Ocean. Sometimes the surf gets very rough, but whenever you see all these big rocks and boulders protecting the beaches, look how calm the ones they are on the sides, on the left and on the right-hand side. Great, great beaches out there. Where can you stay? The main highlight here is Dorado Beach, Ritz-Carlton. You have a great embassy for the families. You have Hyatt places. I want to highlight the Dorado Beach because on that same Condé Nast Traveler magazine that came out with awards in October of 2019, Dorado Beach Ritz-Carlton Reserve was the #1 hotel in the world among the top 50 hotels in the world. So keep that in mind if you had that upscale client. This hotel would really satisfy them at the same. What's left here? Our website. It's so important because we have an award-winning website, a very friendly user. We have all the COVID updates land here in the homepage. You have a lot of small articles, videos that you can send to your clients at the same time. And you can explore the regions of Puerto Rico very easy, like you have on that little printout that you see in this slide. Another thing that we have on our website is our expert program. DiscoverPuertoRico.com Travel Professionals. As you go to the homepage, scroll all the way down and become an expert on Puerto Rico. When you hit Travel Professionals, it will take you to this website within it. We have 2 courses. A general course will give you an idea of what Puerto Rico is. And then we have all the niche markets that we have covered in this presentation too. So if you're into something more of diving or the islands of Vieques and Culebra, weddings, and so you will have your own courses out there. So with this said, I appreciate what you have done for joining me today. My email is right there, Ciso Moreno at outlook.com. So if you have any questions or Tara has any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much and take care of yourself and be well.
All right, Ciso. So we do have some questions. Before we go ahead and start with questions, I do want to reiterate that this webinar was being recorded. So if you joined us late or if you know any advisors who this would be beneficial for, please do point them our direction. This will be available on apta.org in our video resource library by early next week. With that said, Ciso, it looks like we have a lot of questions that have come through in regards to quarantine. To sum it up, as of July 15th, does that mean that anybody entering Puerto Rico will no longer have to do a 14-day quarantine upon their arrival?
Yeah. As per the government of Puerto Rico, who are the ones that create all these guidelines with us, that's our main expectation, and that's why it was moved all the way down to the 15th. So that's what we say our official opening is that, and no more quarantine after the 15th. However, the government is the one that will be determining that. And that's why I said, please check on our website, but that's our expectation for the moment, that as of the 15th, no more quarantine. It could be actually earlier than that, because we have very much under control COVID-19 in the island of Puerto Rico because of the stricter rules that we put in place since March. Think about having a curfew, until from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. We have stores open on Sunday here. They were closed just until about a week and a half ago. We started reopening many things. We're in phase 3, we have phase 4, and phase 4 is supposed to be July 1st. We're hoping, and that will be the final answer for that. That as of July 15th, no more quarantine.
Thank you so much, Ciso. And just to clarify, when you say quarantine, this does mean no leaving the hotel room, no going off premises, or going to the beach, or going to restaurants and getting takeout, correct?
Well, that's what self-quarantine means. But the word self, you got to be your own police. All right? So I cannot tell you what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. If you have restaurants that are open at a 50% capacity, probably you want to go and eat at a restaurant. It's not just takeouts anymore. You're able to go and eat. Like I mentioned before, the pools are 50% open, so you can go out to the pool of the hotel. The beaches are open, so you can go out to the beach. But this is what's going to happen after the 15th. But that's self-quarantine. Yes, you got to police yourself into that. One thing is, if you decide to go before that, just be careful with the curfew. It's a $5,000 fine with the curfew. It's something that is very strict, but it's the law. And you please wear your mask. If you decide to go out for, getting some food and enjoying some of the attractions that are open. Like I said, the rainforest is open. By reservations only. That's something first time we see this in Puerto Rico. So I would suggest you going through a tour agency, the tour operator, that will do the reservations for you to go to the rainforest and some of the other attractions. So already they open up in June 1st, 25% capacity. Now after the 16th, yesterday, they went up to 50% capacity. The restaurant opened up too. So as you can see, things are moving on the right direction. Like we say, it's almost time to open up, and that's 7/15, July 15 is our deadline, if I can say.
Thank you, Ciso. Going off of that, it looks like we have a few questions in regards to your golf resorts. Are those open yet, or will they also be slated to open in July?
They're open. Golf courses are open.
And you had mentioned that right now, more than any, it's ideal to work with a tour operator. On your website, do you have a list of the tour companies that pay commission to travel advisors?
Yes, and that's an excellent question. If you also need information, please contact me directly, and I will just guide you and suggest you some of them. But within our website, we do have a list of all the tour operators that will pay commission to you, and then that's key for that. Definitely, we honor your business.
Thank you. Looks like we have another advisor who is wondering, is the beach at Fairmont El San Juan private?
I'm sorry, the question again?
Is the beach at the Fairmont El San Juan private?
No, all the beaches in Puerto Rico are public beaches. The access from the hotel to the beach is controlled by the hotel. But that beach there at the Fairmont is open to the public. For example, the one at the Caribe Hilton is a private beach. Why? Because the access is controlled by them, and there's no other way because it's a beach within the same resort. And I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you did. Speaking of resorts and hotels, do you have any insight if face coverings will be mandated there?
Yes, as of now, and like we said, hopefully the 15 will give us some new news and better and good news, as we say.
Thank you.
Personally, I would recommend you, if you're going out, and you're gonna see people around, do wear your mask. On that sense, if you're within your family or you're on your table having a meal at a restaurant, you can probably just take them off, eat and enjoy within your own group of people. But if you're going to be within others, I would say just wear a mask and moving around.
All right, thank you. I think that makes perfect sense. I know I myself live right outside of Washington, D.C. and Alexandria, Virginia, and that is exactly what we are recommending here as well. It looks like we have a few advisors who are wondering again about all-inclusive. So can you retouch on what you had said about all-inclusive resorts, or if any of the hotels offer meal plans?
Yeah. We do not have all-inclusive hotels in Puerto Rico. We don't. However, the Wyndham Grand Rio Mar will offer you an all-inclusive option through all your preferred wholesalers, Leisure Group, etc., Classic, Pleasant, and so on, Delta Vacations, etc. Also, you have the Wyndham Candelero, which is a smaller hotel on the southeast end of Puerto Rico, in Palmas del Mar, which used to be a very renowned place. Those two properties offer the all-inclusive option. All the hotels in Puerto Rico will offer you meal plans if you ask for them, especially if you have a small group. They will do that for you, especially like smaller wedding groups, etc. They will.
All right, Ciso, thank you. As we draw closer to the end of the hour, we only have time for a few more questions here. So do you have any insight on when the other airports may be opening on the island?
We're looking for the date of July 1st to bring them back online. However, we need to wait for the FAA to let us know if we're going to be able to open. I know the government has that on their eyesight, that deadline of July 1st, as we just want to continue controlling the entrance of visitors and residents that want to come back to Puerto Rico at the same time. But that's the date that we have to open the other airport.
Would July 1st also be when the curfew is set to be in effect till, or when is the curfew set to expire?
I don't have an answer. I'm being very honest with you on that. We'll have a speculation, and I cannot be specific. The curfew
no problem,
is controlled also, it's also controlled by the government, and we just hope, just to give you an idea, today in the news came out that the Hotel Association, which have members of different restaurants and so on, we're trying to move the curfew to midnight. We were able to go from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So nobody can have dinner earlier than 7, especially we are islanders and our tradition makes us eat late. So 10 is okay, but we go out to eat sometimes at 10 o'clock. So we're looking to push the curfew up until midnight. Now we open a window of nightlife at the same time, and that came up today. Next week, the governor will have another message. So probably all these dates of July 1st will become and take effect at that moment, and we hope so.
All right, thank you, Ciso. And before we go ahead and close out our webinar, just to go back to the mask question, can you please clarify if customers or people staying within the hotels and resorts are required to wear a mask, or is it just the resort or hotel staff required to wear a mask?
Both.
Thank you.
Both.
That's how I understood it, but I just want to make sure that all of our advisors are on the same page with that. So We have a few more questions that I will be connecting you with after this webinar, and we have a whole bunch of amazing accolades that came in. All of our advisors found your webinar extremely helpful, and this is some great insider information, and I know we'll all be making sure that we are constantly texting the webinars for updates, especially myself, as I have a lovely trip to Puerto Rico booked at the end of July. So fingers crossed for that July 15th date there. And Ciso, do you have any closing words for our travel advisors today?
Like I said, we appreciate your business. I know these are very uncertain times. Work with us. Check our website, Discover Puerto Rico, for updates. We're going to be very clear with you. From a 30-page government document, we put everything in one single page for you to make it very easy. That's right on the home page. You're going to see Traveler Update COVID-19. My email, please use it. I would like to help you out, matching your clients. Give me some of the information on their interests so I can be more keen into what I can suggest you to do. And we all hope that, July is, as we say, it's almost time to open. So we've been open. Like I mentioned, we have flights. We have 20 daily flights. As of July, we'll have 50. No other island in the Caribbean has that number of flights at the present time. We believe that our geographical location, our Caribbean hub location, will just go and explode, as we say, because of all the airlift that start coming to Puerto Rico and to other islands in July, and hopefully we can go travel safely, which is the main concern of these dates and uncertainty of final openings. And thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. As I had mentioned, this webinar was recorded, so if you would like to listen to this presentation again, it will be available on ASTA.org by early next week. I would like to thank again Ciso for his amazing presentation, as well as for our amazing partners at Discover Puerto Rico. Everyone have an amazing afternoon or morning, depending on where you're joining us from, and be sure that you sign up to join us at ASTA Global Live, where you can network with amazing exhibitors such as Discover Puerto Rico. With that said, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.